Welcome, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me today in this pose breakdown video. Today we are going to be taking a close look at downward facing dog. This is probably one of the most commonly practiced poses in any vinyasa or flow style yoga class. Not only is it super popular, but it is also the ultimate when it comes to a full body yoga pose. So downward dog gets everything from your arms, hands, and wrists to your shoulders, upper back, waist, and core, and works all the way into your legs, ankles, and feet. So as we take a detailed look at this full body pose, you will have an opportunity to examine everywhere that your body is tight or needs to build strength and stamina. So go ahead and like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments below. Then roll out your mat and let's get ready to take an in-depth look at downward facing dog. As with any yoga pose, we're going to start from the foundation and build our way up. Now with down dog, we're not only using our feet as part of our foundation, we're also bearing weight in our hands. So down dog is our first arm balance and our first inversion in all of the yoga practice. So it's important that we start with a solid foundation so that as we build and increase the difficulty of the poses that we're practicing, we can do so on a solid foundation of good body mechanics that will protect your wrists and hands, your shoulders and back, all the way up through more advanced poses. So you can start just kneeling comfortably on your mat, and we'll come into a tabletop position, bringing your hands flat down onto the floor. Now, the first thing that you want to be aware of is that your hands are wide enough apart. Oftentimes, I will see people bringing their hands a little too close together, and that makes it difficult to open through the chest and shoulders. So we want to start with the hands at least shoulder width apart, and maybe that's a little wider than you realize. So you can always separate your hands even wider than that, but just make sure that your hands aren't too close together. And then you'll want to spread your fingertips wide apart. Try to take up as much space with your hands as you can. Then check and see that the crease of your wrists is parallel to the front of your mat. So you don't want your hands rotated out to the side or rotated inward, but you want to have your hands parallel to one another, with all your fingers pointing forward and the thumbs pointing in towards each other. And with the creases of your wrists parallel to the front of your mat, we will begin an external rotation in the upper arm bones. So you'll roll the crease of your elbows forward. Now this might feel a little awkward in the beginning, but I assure you that this will help to build stamina and strength and stability in your arms and forearms, which will help prevent any excess pressure or tension in your wrists. So we roll the crease of the elbows forward, and as you do, naturally the index finger knuckle will want to start to lift away from the mat. So this is where the work begins, to press down through the index finger and really anchor down through that knuckle mound so that there's even pressure from the outer heel of the hand forward through the index finger knuckle. So we feel power and strength in the whole hand and a slight lift through the inner palm. So you could imagine that there's a little baby dome underneath the palm of your hand. Then from here, you can step your knees back a little bit behind your hips so you start to feel your shoulders extend. tuck your toes underneath you and press your hips up towards the sky. But you can keep your knees bent and you can keep your heels lifted. So we're still looking at the upper body. Pressing down through your hands, press forward into your knuckles and apply some pressure into the pads of your fingertips as well. Now, as you lift your hips and extend your shoulders, naturally the crease of your elbow starts to rotate outward. So again, we have to re-engage the arms. Rolling the crease of your elbows forward, this naturally calls upon the strength of your lats and your shoulders. So now we're really bringing in some power and strength into the upper part of your back. Rolling the crease of the elbows forward, engaging the strength of your upper back. We can press forward through your hands and lift your hips a little higher. Now, I always encourage in the beginning of this practice to lift your heels high, coming up onto your toes. Then slightly bend behind your knees so your legs are somewhat relaxed here. When you release the tension behind your legs, you can create a little more space to start lifting your hips higher, and you start to extend through the full length of your spine. So check in with yourself and see if you can feel any part of your spine that is still rounded and not fully extended. So if you're noticing anywhere in your spine, you know, sometimes people are a little too far forward, sometimes the pelvis rounds down. So this is your opportunity to really stretch the hips high, extend through your chest and shoulders so your arms are fully extended. And you'll know because your biceps will be aligned on either side of your ears. By now, your arms and your shoulders might be getting a little bit fatigued, but we won't be here for too much longer. As you get stronger in this pose, it will become easier to hold for longer periods of time. Take a break when you need to and come back in as you're ready. Now, keeping the hips high, feeling that full extension in your spine, you can slowly begin to pedal out your feet, stretching one heel and then the other, back and forth, stretching into the backs of your legs. So as you feel that full extension in your chest and spine, now we begin to move our focus down into the legs, stretching all of those muscles in your hamstrings and your calves, and also stretching into the attachments behind the knees and at the ankles. So after taking a few rounds of pedaling out your feet and warming up the backs of your legs, we can reach both heels simultaneously down towards the mat. Now, I assure you, it is hard work to get both heels flat down to the floor while maintaining extension in your legs and full extension in your spine and shoulders. So don't worry if your heels stay slightly lifted. Most importantly, we want to keep that length and strength in the back, arms, and shoulders, and then we stretch the heels to the earth from there. Check back in with your hands. Make sure that you haven't lost any stability or grounding in your palms. Take a full deep breath in right where you are. Then as you exhale, slowly lower your knees to the mat. Lower your hips to your heels and take a little break in child's pose. Take a full cycle of breath in and out, letting your body relax.
You can stay here and rest for as long as it feels good to you. And as you feel ready, you can walk your hands in towards your knees and press yourself all the way up.
Thanks so much for joining me in this pose breakdown, exploring downward facing dog. So this is definitely a full body pose that can present a full body challenge. But I assure you, the more often you practice, the stronger you're going to get. And you may even be surprised at how quickly your body can adapt and pick up the alignment of this pose. So stay with it. If you didn't already, like this video so you can come back and practice your body mechanics as often as you need until you start to feel strong and confident in this pose. I hope you have a fantastic day and that you've learned a lot with me here. And don't forget to come back and follow along with me in lots more videos as we continue to dive into the mechanics of your most commonly seen yoga poses and explore some beginner-friendly flows to help you gain confidence and stamina in your yoga practice. I look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.